Hello, it's 12 hours GMT. This is the Midday News. The news is live on Joy99.7 FM in Accra. We're also live in Kumasi on Love 99.5 FM. We're streaming live on Facebook and over 30 affiliates across Ghana's 16 regions, including Laura FM Laura, A1 Radio Bolgatanga, Sky FM in Sunyane, and Victory FM Aplao. Go digital on Spotify and the MindJoy online app. And coming up, government to announce further expenditure cuts and review of all 16 social intervention measures, including the free SHS and LEAP, as it prepares to announce details of what it says are far-reaching decisions to save the economy from collapse.
Bank of Ghana ne Finance Minister mutumi na masidi no mwa kakra mampani decide. Omayo Monetary Policy Committee meeting to omomu do mshisha ebe to abontin na later during the week no Finance Minister so bet here they are buying their four Bank of Ghana for no so.
We have details plus the first response from the Bank of Ghana, which is expected to announce measures aimed at stabilizing the city. Also here on the Midday News, Inspector General of Police petition to arrest former Director of the School of Law, Maxwell Opoku-Agyeman, and two other senior officials for alleged fraud and forgery of official documents of the school. We'll bring you details. And the Supreme Court aired. That's the verdict of former Attorney General and Foreign Affairs Minister Obadiah Osamoah on the court's ruling to allow deputy speakers vote while presiding.
The standing order, which says we collectively decide that when you are a deputy speaker, you must not vote. How can that be ultra-virus? I don't understand.
We'll bring you his reasons later in the bulletin. Also coming up. Disgruntled members of the Obuasi West constituency of the governing NPP picket at the national headquarters over polling station elections. And coming up, we'll bring you our Ghana Man series, which focuses on indigenous Ghanaian games. We'll tell you about the Anto Kwanche game.
For those seated, nobody should look back. The moderator then goes behind one person and puts a cloth behind them.
We'll bring you details coming up in sports.
Black Stars players have begun arriving for the World Cup qualifier against Nigeria. Head coach of the team, Otto Addo, says they want to make themselves and the nation proud. We have details in 20 minutes.
Details of these stories and more in this half-hour package. Please stay with us. Thanks for choosing us. This is your home of independent, fearless and credible journalism. I'm Ernest. To the details now. Government is expected to announce further expenditure cuts and review of all 16 social intervention measures following a 3-day retreat aimed at finding solutions to the country's mounting economic problems. Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta will provide details of government's response to rising fuel prices, fast depreciation of the Ghana cedi, among other challenges, which have caused significant rise in the cost of living. The presidency has ruled out any possibility of returning to the IMF against recommendations by top economists. More on this shortly, but first, here's a Newsdesk report.
I'm using all our money to buy fuel.
I was hoping that I could get building materials at cheaper prices, but the prices keep soaring.
That's the crunch being felt by many Ghanaians. Fuel prices are at an all-time high beyond 10 cedis per litre after starting the year at 6 cedis 30 pesos. The city is in a free fall and general cost of living is on the ascendancy. President Akufo-Addo has admitted that the economic conditions are harsh.
The difficulties that all of us are going through now are not things that we need to have to emphasize and reiterate. It's obvious, and the source of it is also something that all of us know.
These conditions call for tough measures. Already, pay cuts for government officials and suspension of flagship programs have been proposed.
The executive and writers must have a pay cut. Maybe 25% will do.
Why don't you suspend this 5, let's say, social intervention?
Experts predict that failure to act swiftly will force a return to the IMF.
Yeah. Then once your international reserve depletes to a certain level, you have no choice than to go to the IMF in an ambulance. This is what is keeping us right now.
Government has, however, ruled this out. In response to the rising criticisms, key members of government held a crucial meeting over the weekend to strategize on how to fix the economy. Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta is expected to communicate the outcome of the meeting to Parliament this week.
Finance Minister has 12 questions. We know the challenging times we find ourselves, but we believe that he would make it and explain government financial policies.
It waits to be seen whether the new strategies will address the country's current economic situation.
The News Desk report. We can now hear from the Information Minister Kojo, who spoke on Accra-based NEET FM.
Betumi aka kyerɛ wɔ sisu bia sɛ ɔmampani decide ɛda a wobɛbie borders no ɛne deɛ wɔ sɛ yɛyɛ ansa na yɛtumi abie megye de sɛ ansa na wɔtwe wei nkɔ na wieɛ no ɔmampani nankasa ɛne yɛbɛkasa ɔmampani ɛsɛ take a decision deɛ wɔ sɛ Bank of Ghana ne Finance Ministry ɔmtumi yɛ na masidi no mmoa kakra ɔmampani decide ɔmayɛ monetary policy committee meeting nti ɔmɔ de ɔmhyehyɛ ɛbɛto abɔnten na later during the week, no finance minister so bet here they are buying the four Bank of Ghana for no so. And the CD no man penny to one more taking decisions and no details no about. It also means say your budget nankasa. Your budget new year no. Adia ba kwa here near the account maskani na ba no media yedmano electronic transactions levy. No say di unkomo union no donkomo no any entry. Say any juma man nkweni and the mampeni the time I had a buying expenses so you cut your expenditures by about 20%. Sabe ya efe the witness you really everything. Whilst I efe and him no mampeni as start to say sign budget no so by 30%. I mean by some extra point. Maybe about to do by 30, maybe in Rusa, but I was a finance minister ne other ministries near there no more better home in no income. The contractor for Musika near him there, Sabbath area is a baby, you know. What I train him now, see a budget or so.
That's the Information Minister Kojo speaking on OKFM. He first of all talks about interventions that the Finance Minister will later this week announce as part of plans to help save the economy. He also mentions the monetary policy meeting by the Bank of Ghana and other measures that will be announced by the Bank of Ghana as part of solving the cedi depreciation problem. And he then talks about government's own measures by way of expenditure cuts by up to 20% to help deal with the challenges that we are facing with the economy. He was speaking on Accra-based OKFM. We're scheduled to speak to him, but we do not have him yet on the line. Once we get him, we'll bring that interview to you and bring you the latest from the Bank of Ghana as well. To other stories now, Inspector General of Police George Ekufu-Dampare has been petitioned to arrest and put before court the former acting director of the Ghana School of Law for fraud and forgery of the school's official documents. The petitioner, Kosi Senyo, in the petition says the former director and two other senior officers who are still at post were found guilty of illegally admitting 10 unqualified students into the Ghana School of Law for the 2021-2022 academic year. Joseph Akabley joins us in the studio with details of this petition. Joseph, what are the details?
So it reads that respectfully, sir, Mr. Maxwell Opoku-Agyeman and his two accomplices were found by a disciplinary committee of the General Legal Council guilty of the offence of illegally admitting 10 unqualified students into the Ghana School of Law for the 2021-2022 academic year, encloses a letter by Her Ladyship the Judicial Secretary dated 14 February 2022 conveying the Director of the General Legal Council through His Lordship the Chief Justice to the Ghana School of Law to take disciplinary actions against Mr. Maxwell Opoku-Agyeman and his two accomplices based on the findings by the Council. Said the conduct of Mr. Opoku-Agyeman and his accomplices as found by the GLC borders not only on illegality but also a possible case of fraud, forgery of official documents, and corruption by public office holders. Accordingly, I write on behalf of the millions of concerned Ghanaians to request your high office to immediately arrest, investigate, and possibly prosecute Mr. Opoku-Agyeman.
But he's also petitioned other institutions. Which are these institutions, and what exactly is he seeking them to do?
There's one at Shraj, and Shraj is being asked to investigate him for the offense of, it still has to do with the offense of illegally admitting the students. And so this portions of that letter reads that I write under Section 12 of the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice Act 456 to investigate Mr. Opoku-Agyeman and his accomplice and make the necessary recommendations.
That's my colleague Joseph Akabley there with details of a petition first to the IGP and Shraj as well as other institutions.
Oh yeah, Chele. Oh Biara. Chele. Oh yeah, Chele. Oh Biara. Sasi Sena.
Those are sounds of some NPP members from the Obuasi West and Bantama constituencies who are today picketing the party's national headquarters over what they describe as unfair polling station executive elections. They allege that in some situations they were illegally disqualified from contesting for non-payment of dues. Some of the aspirants say their names were deleted from the album, preventing them from contesting, and they want the national executives to intervene in the situation. We can hear from some of them. We'll bring you that sound shortly, but first let's go on to the lines now and speak to Michael Ashale, who is monitoring the events at the NPP headquarters. Michael, what can you report from there?
Yeah, so Ernest, at the moment I can confirm that these people who are in the premises of the headquarters of the NPP have spared. Now, what I've been told is that a representative of John Kojo was asked to meet them in the presence of the Manu So they met them, took the petition, and told them that, well, the headquarters has taken notice of their grievances and will definitely reply them in the shortest possible time.
That's my colleague Michael Papaniashale monitoring events at the NPP headquarters. Let's now hear from the aggrieved party supporters or members who have picketed the national headquarters.
I went to my polling station and I realized that it has been changed. So I ran to that place where the committee has selected. My name wasn't part of the group. So I inquired from the electoral commissioner, why is it that my nomination form is not part of those people to be elected? And all that he could tell me was I should talk to the authorities.
And you heard there an aggrieved NPP member who is today joining others to picket at the national headquarters of the NPP. We'll bring you details in our subsequent bulletins. Meanwhile, the delegation from the Bantama constituency are threatening to vote for candidates in the opposition NDC in the next election if their concerns are not addressed.
They
use the ID cards to vote for the MPP. We did not use the party card. When you bring the ID cards to vote, they reject it. Our leaders should tell us if we vote with ID cards. They should be clear about the voting process, whether we are using the election card or party card. If they don't, then DC will win the seat.
Opposition for NDC.
And you heard there some members of the NPP in the Bantama constituency. Let's go live to the Bank of Ghana now. Governor Ernest Addison is speaking about measures the bank is rolling out to help save the economy, especially the depreciation cedi.
And the reasons for that are varied. Part of it reflects the fact that we had lost access to capital markets, and therefore we were not going to be able to issue a bond this year, which has immediate implications for the availability of foreign exchange. But as you said a few moments ago, our friend from Ghana Television, the government has announced its intention to raise $2 billion from some syndicated arrangements with banks. Now, if that goes through, that should help improve the supply of foreign exchange to the economy as a whole, and therefore should impact positively on the strength of the cedi. In terms of what the Bank of Ghana has been doing, as you're aware, we have the fortnightly foreign exchange auctions where we make foreign exchange available to the system. And in the last few weeks, past 4 weeks, we have been making a special allocation to the OMCs and the energy companies, as well as the cement producing companies. And I can tell you that as of last week, we had completely cleared the pipeline demand for foreign exchange from these OMCs. So what you are saying in terms of tweaking the framework for the OMCs is already in place. And I think that if you talk to the OMCs, they'll tell you that the Bank of Ghana has been making foreign exchange available to them. In addition to that, we've made foreign exchange available to the market broadly. And we think all of that should help in terms of mitigating the pace of depreciation of the cedi. Now, these are all short-term measures, immediate measures that we are taking to address the matter. But we also this morning have announced an increase in our policy rate. That action in itself should make our domestic assets more attractive and improve the incentives for investing in cedi-denominated assets. So the significant policy rate adjustment that you saw is also aimed at strengthening the cedi. Some of the medium to longer term actions, you mentioned the domestic gold purchasing program. These are things that would impact the level of gross reserves in the medium term. We've made quite some progress in terms, I think we've bought over 600 kilograms of Dory gold. But this gold has to be refined to very high standards before they will qualify as a reserve asset. And we are in the process of fulfilling all the due diligence requirements that the refineries, the LBMA certified refineries in the world look out for. We are hoping, we are quite sure that in the next month or two, we would be able to export the Dory gold that we have. And once that is refined, it will become part of our gross reserves. Issues that we also discussed at this weekend retreat in the medium term is also to look at some of the retention agreements that we have with the oil marketing, with the oil drilling companies, etc. These are really medium to longer term issues which should help improve the foreign exchange earning capacity of the economy as a whole. So yes, we are quite confident that these measures would help to stabilize the cedi. If you listen to what I said that we think that the exchange rate has overshot its long-run level. And when that happens, it can only appreciate. So those that are speculating on the cedi, I think that they should be aware that the central bank thinks that the cedi has overshot its medium-term levels, and therefore we think that we can only see some appreciation in the next few quarters. So I'm not sure that you're going to win by speculating against the cedi. The issue of whether Ghana debt is distressed is neither here or there. We said that the rating companies downgraded us because of fiscal and debt sustainability issues. So these are matters that are already in the public domain. The government has announced ways in which they will deal with it. You know about the 20% expenditure cut. That's one of the measures that the government is undertaking. And I think later on this week we'll hear more measures.
That's the governor of the central bank, Dr. Ernest Addison, speaking there at a news briefing today. He's been talking about measures being rolled out by the bank to help rescue the cedi, which has been falling. He talks about providing enough foreign exchange to the market broadly, but mentions specifically the OMCs because of the consequences it has on fuel prices. He's also mentioned some long-term plans which include the domestic gold purchasing program. So far they have about 600 kilograms of gold, but needs to go through the process of refinery in order to become an asset. To bring you more on this in our subsequent bulletins, you're listening to the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM. Now, a rainstorm has wreaked havoc in the Obogo community in the Asante Achim South District of the Ashanti region. The storm lasted nearly 3 hours last night, destroying homes, schools and electricity installations. There's one following report.
The roofs of some buildings were ripped off and others completely collapsed. The primary power transformer was also destroyed, as well as other electricity poles. Some residents say their source of income is in jeopardy because structures in which they ply their trade and vocation have been destroyed. Hairdressers, artisans and traders are among those who are affected.
I was in my room in the evening with my child when the storm wet my child and I. I was terrified, but we had nowhere to go.
I sent my child to the hospital yesterday, but due to the storm, I went home only to find the roof of my house ripped off by the storm. I had no choice than to wander around until this morning. I was laying on my carpet and suddenly my door opened forcefully due to the storm. Then the roof ripped off and the wood on the roof fell into the room.
The community is pleading with the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, and the local authorities to help them find a solution to their problems. Reporting for Joy News, Obidishie Ofori Amanfo.
And here in the studio, my name is Ernest with the Midday News. We're taking a short break. When we return, we'll bring you the latest in sports plus fact-checking on absenteeism in Parliament. Stay with us.
What brings you to my house this early morning? I hope all is well.
All is never well with me, Nick Bakbo. After paying 3 times for the land for my project, the construction workers are not giving me wahala. From material overestimation to small stealing. I am tired.
I told you so, Efokoku.
It's all because you are trying to become builders when you're corporate workers and business people. Edlum has products tailored to meet your needs. Villas 3 at Amrahia, where there are finished homes, Conveniente, also at Amrahia, where it's contemporary but super affordable apartments. Prices start from $35,000. And the Avant-Garde, located in Adrigano, which has sleek luxury apartments. For more information, please visit edlumhousing.com or simply call 0270-166-166. Edlum Housing, where spacious homes cost less.
Thanks for staying with us here on the Midday News on Joy 99.7 FM. Time now for sport, and Muftar is here with the very latest.
Ernest, it's a big week for Ghana. It's the week that will determine whether we'll qualify for the World Cup or not.
The Jollof Derby.
The Jollof Derby. So the players have begun arriving, and the acting head coach of the team, Otoado, has been speaking. He's been telling us what he believes he can do to ensure that Ghana qualifies to the World Cup.
We are only a few days away from playing our crucial match against our rivals, Nigeria. We all expect Ghana to qualify for the FIFA World Cup in Qatar 2022. But that won't be easy, as we need to do our best to make it to this tournament. The players, the technical team and the Ghana Football Association are committed to this task. We really want to make ourselves and the nation proud by qualifying for this upcoming World Cup. Matches between Ghana and Nigeria are always difficult, but we believe in our players, we believe in our strategies, and we believe in the unflinching support of all Ghanaians as we go into these 2 matches. We are Ghana, and we have what it takes to come out victorious.
He says he believes in the unflinching support, and for the first time, if you want to have access to the game, you need to buy tickets online. The National Sports Authority have released. They say it is ticket.sportsauthority.gov.gh if you want to buy the ticket. That's what the National Sports Authority is saying.
E-ticketing. Thank you very much, Muftar, for bringing us the latest in sports. Time now for fact-checking, and today we look at claims of Norton MP, who is also the ranking on the Foreign Affairs Committee on Absenteeism. He had claimed that MPs Henry Korte and Kennedy Japon have missed the 18 sittings and threatened that he was going to raise the issue on the floor of Parliament. This followed the petition by the former Kumbungu MP, Ras Mubarak, who insisted some 4 MPs needed to be sent to the Privileges Committee over the same issue. Raymond Akwa has been fact-checking this claim and joins me in the studio. Raymond, first tell us what are findings show about the MPs who were absent during the last meeting?
So the Northern MP mentioned the Honorable Henry Korte and Kennedy Japan. Let's look at and he was very clear about the meeting being the last meeting, which is from October to December 2021. Kennedy Japan first. Kennedy Japan was present in 4 out of 28 sittings and was absent without permission for 24 out of the 28 citizens. In fact, his longest consecutive absence without permission was 19 sittings. This is from October 26 to November 25. Within this meeting, he has never been absent with permission. So that's for Kennedy Japan. For Henry Korte, he was present in 5 out of the 28 sittings and was absent without permission in 23 out of the 28 sittings. His longest consecutive absence without permission was 19 sittings from October 26 to November 25. In fact, on the face of the votes and proceedings, he was also never absent with permission. He didn't mention Sarah Joasafo, but other MPs had actually referenced Sarah Joasafo. So let's deal with her situation now. She was present in 2 out of 28 sittings and was absent with permission in 7 out of 28 sittings and absent without permission in 19 out of the 28 citizens. Now, this is very important. Her longest consistent absence without permission in the period under review was 13 and not up to the 15 days. So this is from 26th of October to 16th of November.
So the verdict on Okudzetu's claim for the very 2 is
yes, they are right.
They are right.
Yes, but that of any other claim connected to Sarah Joasafo, at least not within the last meeting, because there's a meeting, last meeting is from October to December. She was not consecutively and consistently absent for 15 or more days.
Raymond, thank you very much. And we'll bring you more even on the current meeting later in our subsequent bulletins. For our Ghana Man series, this week we are looking at indigenous Ghanaian games. Justice Bedu tells us about the Antwechiri game. Listen.
Pupils of the Kwabenya Atomic MA5 school playing the game of Antwechiri. They form a circle and one of them hovers behind them with a stone in hand. The rest in a circle, all of them down on their knees, clapping.
The players must be 8 or more, from ages 5 and above. A cloth is needed for the game. The children are made to sit in a circular fashion, and one of them goes around the circle singing Antwechiri, Antwechiri. They all respond, yeah, yeah, yeah. Antwechiri, Antwechiri, yeah, yeah, yeah. Obi babewo, yeah, yeah, yeah. The song is repeated as many times as one goes around the circle.
Antwechiri is an Akan folklore game. The game's name, Yamfa Antwechi, literally means it has not been put behind you.
The rule of the game is that for those seated, nobody should look back. The moderator then goes behind one person and puts a cloth behind them. The first person should have a way of knowing when the cloth is put behind him or her so that he can be the new moderator. If the person is that absent-minded, the moderator then lightly hits the back and they all laugh. The game continues until they decide to stop.
And that's Justice Bedu's report for our Ghana Man series. And just before we go, former Attorney General and former Foreign Affairs Minister Obed Asamoah says the Supreme Court erred in affirming the voting right of a deputy speaker whilst presiding in the House. He spoke on the AM show.
I think that the Supreme Court is wrong because well, that's what I'm going to say. Now, the standing order, which says we collectively decide that when you are a deputy speaker, you must not vote. How can that be ultra-virus? If the individual can take that position and it is intra-virus, but the collective, in their power to regulate the proceedings of Parliament, they have that absolute power. They say that, look, we are deciding collectively that if you are a deputy speaker, you don't have the vote. How can that be ultra-virus? I don't understand.
That's former Attorney General Obedesomo ending the midday news here on Joy99.7 FM. Our top story this hour: government to announce further expenditure cuts and review of all 16 social intervention measures, including the free SHS and LEAP, as it prepares to announce details of what it says are far-reaching decisions to save the economy from collapse. You can read more on this at myjoyonline.com. I'm Ernest. Up next is Living Word with Dr. Mensa Otebel.
Hello, please, am I speaking to Miss Joanna Kuma?
Yes, please.
My name is Philip and I'm calling from MTN. Someone has just sent you money and we will need you to enter your PIN number so that we can put the money in your account.
Hey,
oh dada, MTN will never ask you for your PIN. Never reveal your PIN to anyone under any circumstances. And if you are not sure, always check the number. MTN will only call you with a dedicated number, 0244 300,000. Stay safe, stay vigilant. We are good together everywhere you go.
We all dream to travel more, to discover more.
Royal Air Maroc is taking a step further for you by joining the award-winning One World Alliance as the